Yeah, it's got a wide shot. It's 4K, like wide range.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm glad to get to know that you have a family, and that's something for you to strive and make your company even stronger than what it is.
Absolutely.
So tell us about 128.
So 128 is people always ask what the numbers are from. So it's the major beltway around the city. So it's Route 128. My father wanted a local name.
Okay.
26 years ago. So we've been in business for 26 years. This past April, and
Sorry, you said 26 years?
26. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's my dream.
Right. I know. It's you never, obviously you don't really think about it at the time, but now when you step back and you evaluate, it's kind of like a badge of honor, you know?
It is.
Right. So I mean,
Any business being in business that long is amazing.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, it's 26 years of hustle is what it really
huge
is.
feat. Yeah,
you know
of
what I mean?
struggle, of
Yeah.
fight, and your father must be an amazing man.
Yeah.
Like in his own. Not even including the empire that he created under
Right.
him.
Right. Yeah, it's it's wild. It's had obviously its ups, its downs. It's had like every nightmare story that we've all heard before, but it's all about perseverance, and I'm definitely proud of what he's been able to kind of break through over the years, and the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows and the switch in business model and approach and all the above. You know?
Yeah, that's I think that's probably one of the biggest struggles for any older plumber, because let's face it, we're inheriting these businesses that have been ran by these old timers, and to go through a drastic change and huge, it impacts them in their soul, for one, because they've held on to this thing so dearly and raised this thing.
Yeah.
And then you, as being the second generation, the son,
Yeah.
changing the whole scope of where you guys are going with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
What is he? How does he feel about it?
To be honest with you, this is probably where it all. The foundation of this all is that he's like the ultimate supporter, which is really rare that I find. You know.
Yeah.
People always say like, oh, your old man must be sitting on the beach right now or golfing, and he's so happy that you've just ran with this and done things that he couldn't. And I was like, I don't really look at it that way.
It's not things that he couldn't, I don't think.
No, because he was smart enough to know
Yeah.
that, like, this isn't my strength, and I think you might be able to do this a little bit better. I still want to run full speed with you, so here's some tools, here's some vision. Maybe go bark up this tree a little bit, and that's kind of what we did. And he's still full tilt. He's still at the office every day. He gets after it. He loves it.
Okay,
He's an ultimate plumber. I don't think you ever lose that. You know what I mean?
no, it's ingrained in your soul, like
exactly.
in your spirit. I always tell this to all my guys: plumbing is not a job; it's a lifestyle.
Nice.
And you never lose it. I'm like, if you're looking for a job, this is not it.
Yeah.
This isn't for you, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you're a great person, but this is not going to be for you.
Absolutely.
It's 12 hours a day.
That's it.
And for you and I, it's endless.
Exactly.
It's all day long, on the phone,
Yep.
talking to your guys, the whole 9 yards. Wow. So what inspired you to make this change? Oh, you know what? Let's talk about this.
Okay.
This is a huge feat for older companies.
Yeah.
How did you go paperless?
Wow. It's not even something I've thought about in a couple of years. But
Because you're paperless and your
Yeah.
father's got stacks of shit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How did you do this? How did you make this transition?
Just rip the Band-Aid, man.
That's the best way, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what it is? It's just over time. Yeah, of course. Like your first. That's funny. I haven't even thought about that in a long time, but it's still there. It's still definitely out there for sure. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's going paperless, whether it's like changing your pricing, whether a lot of the things we talked about this weekend so far.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, whatever shift that is there's always going to be a certain level of struggle, apprehension to it.
Yep.
And the whole thing, like yesterday, what I said was just, you just got to do it. The difference between some people and some companies is just physically doing things.
Yep.
And you just got to dive in head first, and you'll come out just fine.
You'll be all right. Yeah. There is the other side. You will get there.
Yeah.
It's going to take some struggle, and you're going to lose some guys. So just so you know a little bit about me, my company, we're 5 years old.
Nice.
We started paperless, so it was a little easier. My wife is amazing.
Yeah.
If you look her up, Devin Thompson, she's great at everything that she does.
Nice.
She's a community leader. She's a business leader. She runs my show. I am here with you. Fortunately enough, because I have an amazing wife that takes control of things. And she had this vision of just being paperless right off the bat.
Nice.
Because I would go home and be like, oh, I hate my paperwork. My fingers would hurt because I'm not a good writer, and it would take me forever. I would have to rip up 3 invoices, throw it away, and then when I did submit it, the customer calls the office and is like, hey, I can't even read this guy's writing. Like, can you guys type this up for me or something? And it was super annoying. But okay, so I guess where I'm getting with this is change and how you bring about change in your business. I know personally it has hurt me. It's hurt my guys, and but there's a business aspect of it, and we got to get to that other side together. And if you love what we're doing and you believe in what we're doing, you'll make it through it with us. But
so that's what it is right there. I think that the communication aspect of that and having your team buy into what you're doing, where your ultimate vision is, I think is ultimately the most important piece. Like, for example, something really, really simple, but we are restocking the way that we're stocking all of our vehicles. And instead of
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
A ton of work. I've done it.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of just showing up on Monday and say, hey, dump your truck, this is how it's going to be built and this is how it's going to be laid out, we've spent over the past 2 weeks working with our guys saying, hey, this is an option. What do you think? What would you like to have? So they're physically buying in to the whole process. So when the change does happen, they're committed and they're ready to go. So same type of thing in all of that stuff. We have one guy who's been with us since day one. And he's still there.
Wow.
Right, through all the change, right? But I've had a strong communicating relationship with him in a sense that he understands where.
Do you feel he's like your uncle?
Yeah, it's honestly, he's like, he's. Well, him and my old man, they were riding in the truck together 25 years ago. They're like an old married couple. You know what I mean? So but with him, you have to communicate to him certain ways because he's been there, done that, seen that, done that. So you gotta
respect him,
exactly. I can't approach him the same way that I do my second year guy. It's just different, and that's what I've learned about management, and that it's not one size fits all. Management style is you have to be able to adhere to everyone's strengths, personalities, their weaknesses. And we actually evaluate that in the hiring process now. Personalities and stuff like that.
That's great. So you're second generation plumber. I'm first generation plumber.
Nice.
How do I make my son take my business over?
That's a tough one.
I honestly feel like my daughter's going to do it. But my son, I would love for him to be like, hey, he just takes this thing. He's like, I want it. What do I do, Dad?
Well, I know. Well, he's committed to it because it's Thompson Family Plumbing, so he so he has to now. So that's good.
If he wants inheritance,
that's what it is, right? It's already premeditated. You're like, hey, son, I put it on the truck, so here we go. Man, I think all the stuff that we were talking about yesterday afternoon, and like you were saying, like whether we call it like making plumbing sexy again, or just like getting people involved in it. Just you're clear like what you're doing right now. This is part of it. People, this is the channels that people are watching now, right? Cool guys like yourself with cool mustaches, with good personalities, like. You're making plumbing cool. Okay, you don't have to toot my horn. I'm already right here with you. That was yesterday. I'm kidding. Well, I agree with that. Okay, so we were talking about an issue yesterday, which I was kind of like blown away by everything that was going on. So we were talking about the lack of plumbers and the lack of the youth trying to get into plumbing. But you know what? And they're talking about this epidemic in plumbing, but it's not plumbing. It's everything. I agree. Exactly. It's everything. And it's our culture. It's become our culture. Exactly. Our kids want to be on the phone. They want to be in front of the TV. They want to be playing video games. They want to be doing all this other stuff. But how do we do that? I think, in my opinion, is we have to make impressions on them and show them how cool it is to be that guy with the wrench or to be the guy with the torch. Like my kids, they're like,
Dad, can I solder that?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, light this thing up.
Yeah.
You know, I tell my neighbors' kids, I'm like, hey, you guys want to come over here and learn something?
That's cool.
Like you gotta, I feel like we all have to be leaders and teachers, just like we do our customers. If we can't teach the youth, we can't teach our customers.
Yeah.
The youth is way easier to teach than our customers that we come into the field because they think they know something, and we have to re-educate. It's harder to re-educate than it is to do it from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You know what it is though? It's just like anything else. You know, it's gonna take time. You know.
Yes.
There's gonna be no jobs in certain areas, and then people will naturally gravitate into it, and then it's gonna happen. It's happened before, and it'll happen again. History's gonna repeat itself.
I have a problem in my area. Walmart cannot hire people. They start at like $15 an hour. They cannot hire people. Their management makes killer money.
Yeah.
Killer money. And they cannot keep one person. They won't even show up.
Yeah.
Like all they say is like, just show up to work.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to come in, and it's tough.
Yeah, so I think you're right. It's definitely not a plumbing problem. It's a society problem right now. You know, so you know what? There's certain things that we can and can't control. I mean, the labor force is something that I cannot physically control. Yeah. So just what I was trying to get at yesterday was just focus on the things that you can control. Yeah. Right. Definitely. You can control being awesome. You can control your environment and your surroundings. And I'm not gonna let that dictate the growth of our business. We're just going to have to create. That's it. Yeah. You know?
Let's talk about your hiring process. It's like, it blew my mind when I heard you talking about it. And it was just really intriguing for me because I'm like, how do I get people in? Like I was trying for 2 years to get guys. Yeah. And it was like almost impossible. But I kind of like your mentality of like group interviews. Yep. And you do it every other week.
Just do it. Yeah, that's the thing. Just do it. Here's.
Do you advertise for plumbing, or do you just advertise for a job?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I didn't get into the details of that yesterday because there's kind of a lot of moving pieces.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of people would go and they would advertise, come to this group interview, and they would never convert people.
Okay.
So they just reply to a normal post, whatever it is, or they hear from us from the vendor down the street or whatever. They come in, or we, just funnel them to the website, funnel them to the app. Their name comes in, and we just be like, great, looks like, Wednesday at 4 o'clock sounds good. We'll see you there. And you just keep funneling them, keep funneling. It's the ready, fire, aim type of mentality. Like I don't overanalyze, how long you've been working, are you any good, where you're from, all that type of stuff. I just don't really get into that because then I'm like prejudging all of it. And who really knows? Yeah. Who really knows? We actually just hired recently a gentleman, and he was actually he was moving back to Massachusetts from Orlando. Wow. He was there for 6 years. Because of my farm system kind of mentality and keeping them in the loop, I just randomly reached out to him again, and ironically enough, he was moving up in 2 weeks. He had already had another job lined up from his dad, and then I said, no, man, you got to come see us first. And and he came in. Wasn't on the Wednesday. I made time. I told my wife, I said, I got to go to work on Saturday because this kid just rolled into town, and he is killing it. He was the one I was telling you yesterday. He's killing it on drains. Oh,
yes. Your hero plumber. Man, that guy's gnarly.
That's what I mean. And so it's just thinking differently. Like there's all bets are off, man. Like you gotta think differently. You gotta be creative. I don't care if it's 7 o'clock at night texting guys and being like, hey man, what's up? How's things? How's your day today? I just stay in front of them. So it's not uncommon for communication for a year via text, phone call. Hey, you just wait for the right time and it will be there. If you're the right culture, you're the right company, you're where they're supposed to be, you'll find the right time.
So if you were getting your hands dirty, and you were going to ride with one of your guys, what job would you want to get on?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I love drains, man. Yeah? I'd get on a main, bro.
Yeah?
I'd get on it. I'd get on it. Be like, oh, a couple separated joints here. Let's get the camera down here. Wow. Yep. You got liner opportunity, roots, and all. Have at it, man. That's all good.
So I'll tell you my favorite service call. Okay. My favorite service call is a kitchen line.
Okay.
Why? Well, for one, we're pulling back grease almost every time.
Yep.
option for jetter, right?
There you go. Right. Yep.
If I jet the line,
Yep.
and I clean it all out, let's just say they didn't want to do that.
Okay.
I have the camera going in that line, showing them that stuff. I go all the way into the main.
Absolutely.
I have two opportunities
There you go. Yeah.
to create a situation
100%.
to sell a job.
That's right.
And that is my favorite task. If I got a call, I'd be like, give me a kitchen line.
Yes.
That's my jam.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
A lot of guys are like water heaters.
Exactly. Everyone always says water heater.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. If you get really good at that and it's pull and replace and have a nice day, make a couple bucks and move on to the next, that's cool.
Yeah.
But something about knocking out a drain, dude.
Oh.
And then it's moving, you're like,
It's gratifying. You can see it. You feel it.
Exactly.
It's the whole 9 yards.
yeah.
So how do you separate yourself from the competition?
Yeah. You know, like, people, we're in a pretty congested market.
First off,
Right.
let's talk about what you do.
Okay.
You guys are strictly fix and repair. Is that correct? Or you
Yeah.
guys do a little remodeling and stuff like that?
We don't do any remodel at all.
None.
So
Okay.
just
Wow.
residential, service, and retrofit installation.
Okay.
But, you know, plumbing, heating, AC, we got a lot of boiler work our way.
Yep.
Do
And
we-
electrical.
And we do electrical as well.
Wow. Yeah.
So the whole thing is, I would absolutely say that for people that want to grow their business and they're in this one segmented area, you got to add more lines in the water.
Yeah.
You know, so for us, we're able to cross sell a lot of our services. So if you like us and we do a great job in cleaning your drains, then we just say, hey, who's taking care of your air conditioning? And then it just keeps going and going.
You know what I find, and where I feel like I need to expand my business is that my customers trust us so much, and my technicians so much. They call us for referrals for everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I have a good person that I can refer, I'm going to refer them. I mean, but of course, I would love that business if I did that. But I find a hard time referring people, so I think it's good that you have a wide range in your own company to capture those leads.
Yeah, and I know that's like an area that's kind of slippery for some people. Like they don't know if that's something, you know. If I'm not an HVAC guy, I don't know it. I can't manage it.
Yeah,
I get that. I don't know. I just don't have that problem. I just hired the good. I guess maybe the right people, the good people that I trust.
Yeah.
And honestly, you don't have to know how to change a capacitor to find the right solution for it. I don't know. To me, I just don't see that as an objection or it's just a limiting belief at that level of like, you know, the thing is, man, if you're an HVAC guy, you can work hard and you piece it together and they don't have the problem, let's just go, we don't have the solution, let's go find it.
Yeah.
Let's call somebody who does.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, we're spending thousands and thousands of dollars with our manufacturers and our vendors every single day.
Yeah.
They sure as hell have someone that can help out and figure it out too.
100%.
Just MacGyver that thing and get it done. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So how do you? We're just before we started this interview, you're FaceTiming your daughter.
Yeah.
Your beautiful little baby.
Yeah.
Tell me how you balance that life. Like, I mean, obviously, you have to have great systems in place in your business first.
Sure.
But how do you pick and choose? Like, hey, I'm going to work or I'm staying home.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I would say that when getting prepared for the little one to come along, I definitely underestimated the balance of work.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I don't think that this is a biased statement, but nobody works harder than we do.
Yeah.
I feel pretty passionate about that.
Yep.
And so we take it home. It's in our blood. You know what I mean? So, right? You know.
You have to.
Yeah.
There's no separation. There's really not.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I work with my wife, and there's no separation.
Yeah.
I would love there to be.
Yeah.
We got into an office. We started in our house, and we're like, okay, we got to get an office space. We have to create a separation.
Yeah.
We did that, and we worked on separating our life. It didn't work, and it came right back into each other.
Yep.
And you know what? That's where I like it, honestly, because that's what me and her jive with. Like, we talk business, and that's what we both love and we're both passionate about. And that is our hobby together, I would say. Mm-hmm. And we kill it together.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you just got to find your thing. You know, if that's a good balance for you, then that's perfect. If it's, you know, your spouse doesn't want to hear about it at 5 o'clock, then you just got to be able to make that commitment and just do it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's no there's no doubt. I mean, there are some days that it's more than others that I should probably be shutting it down a little bit sooner. And
Yeah.
she's probably tired of hearing about how Johnny showed up late today or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Hey, why'd you have to use Johnny? I'm John. I mean, you didn't have to do that. I'm kidding. I know John's like the most common plumber.
Yeah.
Plumbing name.
Joe and John. Yeah. You know, it's not easy. Honestly, that's probably an area I could definitely improve on. There's no doubt about that. But
well, hey Ryan.
So let me say this, right? If you want to hustle in this trade,
yeah,
your better half needs to be supportive
and needs to be on your backside. Yes, 100%.
100%. I will tell you that there's 3 contributing factors for us like taking that big leap.
Yeah.
And one of them is when I met my wife.
Wow.
She supported business, whatever that was,
yeah,
and the hustle and the grind. She supported that to say, I get it. You got to do that. She came from her family of entrepreneurs.
That's rare to find because I had full support with my wife.
Yes.
My wife, throughout my whole plumbing career, never called me and said, get home.
Yeah, that's exactly.
But you know what? That's not everybody. I didn't marry everybody, but and so it's harder for those guys that their wives are calling them and don't understand what it takes to be great at what they're doing. It's a huge commitment level, and that's kind of why I say this isn't a job. This is a lifestyle, and that's all there is to it. Ryan, thank you very much for this interview, and I'm going to turn this thing off because we got some killer stuff to talk about. I want to make sure it saves.
So